Hi, collective. Welcome to Pure Tarot. Tonight I'm doing a collective reading specifically geared towards the divine feminine energy. So I've chosen some decks that are more feminine in nature. I'm not going to explain too much about which deck and everything. I'll show you as we go, but I do want to say I have two oracle decks from which or for which I will read out of the book. And as you can hear, English is not my first language. I might stumble on the words. I have an accent, sometimes very pronounced. So all I ask is for your indulgence, and I thank you in advance. So let's go ahead. The first deck is called Journey into the Goddess Realm. So we're going to pull a goddess to preside over this reading and see what kind of energy we're working with primarily. There. I was about to tell you I like pop-outs. So we have, her name is Ariadne, and she is Omens number 4. So let's read. Who is this goddess? So Kriti snake goddess Ariadne is in charge of the labyrinth and the matrix. She is from an ancient matriarchal culture and is fiercely loved. Some suggest that she was a giant. Ariadne helped keep Theseus safe in his successful quest to slay the Minotaur. She is associated with the thread or cord that leads one into the darkness of the maze and out again. Here, Ariadne wears traditional bare-breasted attire and a long skirt. She holds 2 serpents that represent opposing forces, truth and illusion. Ariadne gives you signs and omens to assist you in the matrix of your incarnation here on earth. Be receptive to her. Keywords: signs, omens, ability to naturally interpret signs, messages, confirmation, coincidences, synchronistic events, warnings, and symbology. I will read the shadow keywords: quickly distracted, easily tempted, paranoid, superstitious, not receiving messages, literal interpretation, lost, ignoring the warnings. So it goes both ways, right? Like everything. So let's pull some tarot right away. We'll do the second oracle at the end, or before the trinkets at least. So 5 of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to pull more before I start saying anything. I'm looking at the cards. So these 3 came out together. Hangman, 3 of Wands in reverse, and the Fool. It's really interesting. I'm seeing these 2 cards, actually these 3 cards, as the labyrinth, right? Being stuck in the labyrinth, so feeling lost, even if this card is, anyways, I'm reading it intuitively, and for me it's like feeling lost, at a loss, and also I'm seeing these rods, right? These wands as like the walls of the labyrinth that you're trying, and even this window as the walls, right? Also, So I'm really reading it as that maze. You would have been, here the Three of Wands in reverse. You know, usually it's the ships arriving, but what it feels like here, because of that context, it tells me you're not seeing the exit. So the ships arriving being the exit in this case, right? Or help coming to you, which would be this one who actually gave the thread to Theseus when he entered the maze in the first place, when he entered the labyrinth. So it's really interesting that in this case you would have maybe not gotten any help. I know the Five of Pentacles is in reverse, but it's still I'm not going to read this as coming out of the labyrinth. This is the coming out of the labyrinth, the Fool. He finally breaks free, right? But for me here, the Five of Pentacles is, I'm attaching, I guess, more the meanings of maybe upright, being lost, alone, without any help, without any seeing any salvation possible. So I'm trying to think of what might have felt like a labyrinth to you within the context of, you know, the world, life in general. So there's many ways to look at it. If it's internally, it could be the maze, the labyrinth of your own thoughts, you know, going around in circles and not being able to come out of a rut. It could be, or cycles, right? It could be you're in a place that you're not familiar with and you don't know your way, and you literally sort of get lost. It could be, I'm going to take any example, it could be within a city, but it could be within a building, like a big building, and you don't know where to go. Let's say, you know, when you start school and you don't know, you have your schedule, it says, let's say, room 101, second floor. Where is that? You know, you don't know where it is. They're just examples, right? It doesn't have to be literal, of course not. But I think it's maybe more internal, but it might have had external manifestations, or like exterior express, like excuse me, I'm looking for my words. You might have felt more confused, so you might have been more forgetful and felt like, you know, paperwork was a maze. Doing chores might have been like a big, you know, ordeal, you know, like, so without being a literal labyrinth, things might have become really more difficult due to mental confusion. I am sensing a lot of internal going around in circles, and I say that it's really interesting because for me there's a halo here and there's a sunshine here, right? So here it's like a circle around the head, but it could also be within, inside. So creating a prison. I know it's not the typical meaning of the hangman, but it's how I choose to read it. Mind you, I think that this exploration, unwanted, unverified not voluntary wonderings might have brought you new insights, particularly about you going around in circles, maybe being having habitual repeating certain things over and over, and like suddenly realizing, wow, I really do this. Like avoiding newness, right? Always like the repetitive, the routine stuff, right? But like very rigid. And then here the halo turns into the sunshine because you break free of that mental prison. And you look up and you have fresh air in your face, and you have the sun of the rays of the sun on your skin, the warmth. Creates new hope, new outlook on life. It's also enlightenment in a different form, right? So instead of being inner enlightenment about realizing something about yourself and your own behaviors and habits and patterns, basically. Patterns is a great word for what I'm trying to describe. Suddenly you're open to newness. You're not afraid of trying out new things. Let's see what you do that is new. 2 cards fell. It's crazy. It's like you suddenly open up to like a myriad of options of you want to try everything that there is. Almost like, maybe a little too much with the 7 of Cups. Again, another form of enlightenment, but like this one is like a revelation. It's a shock. It's like maybe you're shocking yourself, right, from being this the hangman is this one post and this one person hanging, so it's like a one-trick pony kind of vibe. And here suddenly it's like this earthquake of things happening, and experiences and feelings and sensations and discoveries, good or bad. I mean, you're gonna get a taste of everything, basically. I sense it's a huge change for you. It's a huge and again you break free from the labyrinth, from the matrix, as the card was saying. It's interesting because Ariadne, so she provides the help, right? So she's not there in the labyrinth, but she did give the thread. So I'm trying to see, it's not here in the tarot, but who could have helped you remotely, because it feels like remote help, right? And this cord, it feels like a psychic link to someone. That's how I'm sensing this. Or, I said psychic, but it could be like a psychiatrist, right? Maybe you went to see a psychiatrist to get out of these patterns and these do you understand? It could be but along those lines, right? So maybe medication. If it's not medication, it's really like therapy. It could be and if it's not along those lines, just the help of a friend, knowing that you have support, that if you would have been really, really in a bad position, you could have asked for help, maybe. But just knowing that it's there. So that's why it's remote, and that's why it's a psychic link. It's just like a thought, it's there, that kind of thing. I want to pull for, because when you break free of the matrix, I'm gonna try to get one card here. I'm just curious to see what opens up for you. Two cards came out. Ten of Swords and the Six of Wands. So this is almost bittersweet. But what's amazing, what's not bittersweet is that it's the end, right? What's the end is the end of that labyrinth, of that going around in circles and being a one-trick pony, and it becomes a victory, right? It's obviously what we call like a personal victory. But I think you get recognition, maybe from your friends, your family, your peers. Maybe people notice that you've changed, that you've like literally exploded. And you almost like you explode into suddenly someone with very colorful, right? With many facets. There's a distinctive, the Tower, the Fool who leaps, this Ten of Swords. These energies are really, really, it's very sudden, it's very noticeable, it's very black and white, it's very, how do you say? I have a word that I can't recall. Anyway, let's draw a Sacred Cycles card. I'm gonna say something, and I really don't mean to be sexist, but I'm still gonna say it. You know how we usually say that women are very good multitaskers, right? This is multitasking at its best, the Seven of Cups here. So, it feels like you've tapped into maybe something very feminine, so the part of the divine feminine within you that is actually able to open the like having a fan, many choices, many experiences. Well-rounded. So what I think was kind of sexist is like, men, we usually say they can only do one thing at a time, versus women can do like many things at once. So apologies if you took it that I don't mean to be derogative. We have this energy of the dark moon that came out. So let's read. It's interesting because the dark moon would have been maybe being in the maze when things are very, when you're in a more introverted, very passive state. It's very in line with that. So the dark moon is, I am a creator being. The dark moon opens up the opportunity to explore a blank slate somewhere in your life. Within the darkness of the void, there is fertile ground for a seed to be planted. So what seed do you hope to plant right now? Before the moon can begin to grow anew, before an oak can sprout from an acorn, you must call forward the vision of each of these in their fullest expression. Now is a time for dreaming, a time to tap into your highest potential. I think it's really, your highest potential is portrayed here by what I was describing as very colorful and multifaceted. Also richer, like it's richer in terms of anyway. So now is a time for dreaming, a time to tap into your highest potential, whether this is through your favorite divination practices, journaling, making a vision board, or meditating. Your channel is open to receive the insights that will inspire this next phase of your growth. As you dream, vision, and dance your way toward defining what the next sacred cycle may look for you, know that the space you are in now holds the most vibrant and exuberant version of your wishes. This is exactly this card. Let your imagination, it's also this is sometimes described as illusions, right? Things that are only in your dreams and fantasy, not necessarily real, they're in your mind. So it's crazy, it's in line with this. Know that the space that you are in holds the most vibrant and exuberant version of your wishes. Let your imagination and hopefulness run wild here, knowing there is nothing to fear in the darkness. It's really interesting. The dark moon phase is really that maze, that labyrinth. I'll draw a trinket. I have no idea how that's gonna tie in, but we get the rooster. You know, the rooster is the sign of a new dawn. So the new dawn is this brand new phase, is coming out of the maze. It's reaching, coming out of the maze, being portrayed as reaching your highest potentials, suddenly exploding into a gazillion how do I want to describe this? Almost like particles. It's funny. It's like I see like an explosion of particles and like beautiful little sparkles of light. It's really a new, it's a huge new beginning. It's actually deeper than initially I was reading it. Now I'm sensing it to be fundamental, a real turning point. like a major discovery about yourself, about your capabilities, skills, talents, wishes, dreams, desires, needs. It's a lot more profound than just being stuck, you know, for a little while in your routines. This is a huge shift in your being. I'm gonna end it here. Kudos to you if you're here still. Thank you so much. I really deeply appreciate your presence. That's what matters to me the most. Please like, share the video, subscribe, but come back. That's what I really want. I'll see you soon. Thank you.